Hello, my name is Madeline Smith, and today I will be presenting on the environmental impacts of a plant-based diet and how you today can start transitioning your diet from a meat-based to a plant-based diet. Now, looking at these two pictures, which do you think is using the most greenhouse gases and contributing the most negatively to the environment? Most people would say the man driving the car, because we are often taught about the impact of fossil fuels and the burning of fossil fuels. However, the person eating the steak is actually contributing more to greenhouse gas emissions and is using more water, which negatively impacts the environment as well. I myself transitioned to a plant-based diet 8 years ago when I was 14 for environmental reasons after I learned of the impact that the meat and animal byproduct production industry can have on the environment. I will describe the impacts of animal product consumption in terms of greenhouse gas emissions and water use, and give you ways to reduce your consumption starting today and continuing into the future. One of the most important things to note is that meat and animal byproducts are a huge staple in the average American diet, but these foods consume the most water to produce and emit the most greenhouse gases of any food group, according to a life cycle study done on plants and animals done by DeVries in 2010. Climate change and water shortage are two of the most important problems the world's population will face in the future, and people can have a direct impact on the severity of this issue. According to a study done by Jones in 2018, 222 pounds of red and white meat will be consumed per person in the United States, and 63% of daily protein intake will come from animal products in the year 2018. To put this into perspective, 2,036 gallons of water is required to produce just 1 pound of beef, compared to 535 gallons of water required to produce a pound of beans, which can have a comparable protein content. And this comes from the Water Resource Network and a study that they did in 2017. Meat production contributes 164 million metric tons of CO2 per year, which accounts for about 18% of greenhouse gas emissions caused by humans, which comes from a study done by LeCare in 2016. If current greenhouse gas emissions continue and water consumption does not decrease, we will be facing a global crisis in the next 50 years, including a 2 degrees Celsius rise in temperature and a decrease in fresh water sources. And this comes from Mitchell and a research project that he did in 2016. However, there are many small, simple steps a person can take to reduce their animal product consumption and therefore their carbon footprint and water use. Replacing animal products with plant-based products that provide the exact same nutrition is the best way to solve this problem. With less animal products in your everyday diet, you can reduce your impact on the environment by up to 30%, and this includes greenhouse gas emissions and water consumption. And this comes from an article written by Poor in 2018. There is a wealth of online resources for making this transition into a more plant-based diet, including recipes and health guides to ensure that you will not be lacking any nutrients by reducing animal products. I will acknowledge that the hardest part of this is finding new ways to incorporate plant-based options into your everyday meal plan. However, there are tons of meat substitutes that are readily available, faster to cook than meat, and cost about the same. There are also many substitutes for dairy products and eggs, all of which are sold at regular grocery stores. To successfully transition to a plant-based diet, you need to start with small steps and be consistent. Start by making just one day of your week completely meat and animal byproduct free. See how you feel on this day and prepare recipes ahead of time to make it easier. After this, you can move on to making one meal every day animal product free, which will already reduce your carbon footprint and water use significantly. Next, try only eating animal products on the weekends and making your meals ahead of time for the week to make the transition even easier. To ensure that you're not missing out on any vitamins or nutrients, you can track your food using an app or manually. Pollack found in 2013 that the most significant effect of a plant-based diet was a lack of protein and a vitamin B12 deficiency, and both of these can be solved with either supplements or proper tracking. Following a plan that works for you can help you effectively reduce your overall carbon footprint and water consumption through simple diet changes. If everyone were to reduce their animal product consumption, leading to less overall consumption, the rate of global warming and the disappearance of freshwater sources would be reduced. This is the single most impactful way to change your negative environmental impact by the numbers recorded by POR in 2018. If the trend of increasing meat, dairy, and egg consumption continues, the production will also increase, leading to more greenhouse gas emissions and water use. This will lead to global warming and water shortages within the next few decades, which is again from an article written by Mitchell in 2016. If everyone were to reduce their consumption of animal products even just a bit, their carbon footprint and water use could be drastically reduced. This will slow global warming and prevent a future water shortage. Try to eat less animal products starting today, even less the next day, the next week, and the next month. Ask your vegetarian coworker for the best meat substitute, or your vegan friend for a good tofu recipe, and implement these things every day. The planet will thank you for it. In closing, I hope you will take this small step of reducing your animal product consumption to have a huge impact on your life and future generations' lives. Thank you.